You got the feeling. Whoa, you got the feeling. Whoa, you got the feeling.
Okay, I am back with Miguel. We haven't got anywhere from the last videos. I just stopped it to change subject.
She's wrong.
Go on. We've been
What do you
somewhere.
mean we haven't gone anywhere?
We're here now.
We've never gone anywhere.
That's very true.
We're always here and now.
Even when we take
Really
mushrooms.
important to understand that concept.
Even more so when we take mushrooms.
Yeah, you know, forget about time. Time is just like
So I wanted to talk to you.
fantasy.
Speaking of time, it's as if you knew. No, and as I take my watch off because it's irrelevant, I only have it for my steps. But anyway, so I would love it if you could explain, in whatever way you like, is the experience of psilocybin mushrooms in terms of your belief. And you've worked with them for a very long time.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So it's been what, 40 years, 45 years?
About yeah, nearly 50 years. Yeah, but
50 years worth of psilocybin mushrooms.
no, not of psilocybin. You know, like when I was young, I started off like all the kids in my neighborhood. I grew up in San Francisco, and like LSD was like, you know, the initiates. But my first experience was taking acid with some friends and going to see a Mamas and Papas concert.
Oh, you're so cool. Okay.
But I have graduated from all this because I eventually found, through my participation with the Santo Daime that uses ayahuasca as part of their sacrament, that that's when I started really understanding what all this plant medicine was about. You know, like I started to really understand what was going on, and I feel I have a fairly good concept of the situation, which I will try to explain very briefly, and is that we have a tendency to think that, you know, intelligence is somehow associated to anthropomorphic forms that have a brain. And I think it's been demonstrated quite well, particularly by politicians, that, you know, having a brain doesn't necessarily make you intelligent. And so if you view the universe, known and unknown, as a sentient being, and going back to the holographic paradigm, it's an information field. It's an information field. Everything is in relationship to each other, but it's all one unit. It is mind that separates things into separation, but there is no separation. And with the plant medicine, this is a very, very common experience, is for people to feel this sense of unity where there is no separation, that euphoric moment of being all with one, you know, that samadhi moment of like where your ego dissolves. Ego's another big.
We'll do another video on ego.
That's a couple of videos on that one. But anyway, when you transcend the limitations of ego, you know, and you dissolve into the energy field that you are in, time and space begin to just dissolve. And this is the power of power plants, you know, like psilocybin, mescaline, ayahuasca, you know, bufus alvarius, all these kind of things, you know, is that it helps to dissolve your ego. You know, shit drugs is like cocaine. Oh man, you know, like what fuck, you're not going to tell me anything, you know, like,
Yeah,
you know, these
arrogant.
are big ego boosters. You know, this is not good stuff. This is crap. Sorry.
Yeah. Regardless of your dealer,
It's
crap.
really, cocaine is down in the low 1% of the garbage pit. Anyway, with psilocybin, let's call them the entheogens. You know, with entheogens, what happens is that you are, now this has to be structured. This is, if somebody has not been in a ceremony, They don't understand the difference between taking some mushrooms and going for a walk in the park and being in a ceremony. Now, a ceremony is a serious thing where there's a structure. The person, the shaman involved, creates a very clearly defined intention. And if within any ceremony you are not talking about unconditional love, you're not in a good ceremony. I'm sorry. You unconditional love is primordial in all ceremonies, because unconditional love is being present. It's being here and now. It dissolves your ego. You transcend mind. You are unconditional love all the time, but you don't realize it. Everybody wants to love and be loved, but very few people know how to be love. And to be love, there's no desire, there's no ego, you just are love. And if you ever meet somebody like that, you're going to know it, because they emanate a frequency, they emanate a perfume, they emanate a presence where you know that person is like centered in unconditional love, and no words are necessary. Now that's a level of communication, and that's where I'm coming back to the entheogens. If you understand that we live in a sentient and symbiotic universe, everything is intelligence. You know, a rock is intelligent, an atom is intelligent. May not have a brain, but there's an intelligence. Mushrooms are clearly intelligent through the mycelium network that interact with the trees and the plants and everything. You know, there's a communication going on. Now, when you quiet your mind and you center yourself and you are here and now and let go of your ego, then you are allowing the medicine to communicate with you. If you are talking, when the professor is talking, and I always make clear in all my ceremonies, I am not the professor, you know, I am the assistant professor. The professor is the plant that puts you in touch with the professor of professors. And so when you allow the mushroom to speak to you, and the mushroom doesn't say, "Hi, what's your name? I'm Mushroom." You know, this is the limitations of language, like, you know, dissolve. Indigenous tribes that have lived for like hundreds or thousands of years, you know, in the jungle and everything, have an intimate relationship with the plants and the animals, because there's a communication going on that is non-verbal. We live, all of us, without exception, in a realm of reality that truly belongs to the ineffable. We cannot really put it into words. We put it into words in order to communicate between us. But there is, and I think lots of people know this, there are levels of communication between people. No words need to be said. You know, when two lovers meet, you know, you don't need to say, "I love you." You just know it, because you're just like talking about vibes, you know, you're just going into each other and you're starting to fuse.
I had that experience before when I met someone, and I realised that what I thought was love before was not love. And then when I met this person, I felt it, and I'm a speaker, I'm a talker, but like there was nothing. I get it from you. But like there was nothing that I wanted to say or needed to say and felt there was any point in saying. And sitting in the silence was so scary, because because I'm not used to that, because usually I express myself in a different way. But when I felt the love, I was like, and it was so different. And that for me made me realise everything else I had was crap, basically. But that was, I just wanted to say that there was no need for Natalie to speak.
Exactly. And this is not only with persons, with everything around you. You know, like there's a level of communication going on with us all the time at everything, you know, all the cells within our body, you know, like they're all sentient, they're all beings, you know, every atom of our body is in communication with each other, and they create this form that we call body. And body, you know, is like a conglomeration of many, 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 many bodies. And I just want to have just a quick little thing on that one about bodies, you know, is that if you get into the human body, it's like unbelievable, this exquisite level of communication between the cells, the enzymes, and everything that's going on. There's like this whole, you're like a whole universe of like sentient beings all in communication with each other. And when you become sick, there is dis-ease. You know, it's because something's going on there that is not in harmony. And the whole thing is to be, homeostasis is the secret to health. And homeostasis is this exquisite dance and balancing act of like everything, you know.
Harmony. This is what we're going to study today.
Okay, yeah, so
Bring
then
it into harmony.
as this is happening with us, and I just want to point out something. When you look in the mirror, don't confuse the driver with the car. It's not you. Sorry to burst the bubble on these fashion models, honey, but it's not you. You know, you're looking at yourself as a reflection, but we are all, without exception, we are all divine beings having a human experience. And that is why there's no differentiation between men and women, which are just simply poles of this one unified spiritual being. The same that it is for our body, the same it is with Pachamama, with Gaia, Mother Earth. And I always have a very special blessing to Gaia when I have my ceremonies, in which is a moment at the beginning as part of a series of centering acts in which we bless Pachamama by being aware that as difficult as it may be to really comprehend, just like we are divine beings having a human experience, planets are divine beings having a planetary experience. And the same goes for the sun. And so like everything that forms the part of the planet, this is the same as with our body. It's a body that's composed of millions and millions, billions of sentient beings that form that body. The same thing with Pachamama. And so all these imbalances, this dis-ease that is going on a planetary level, this is a balancing act. Tutto gira perfetto.
Tutto gira perfetto.
Everything is in balance. Everything is part of a process. It's a part of the healing process. When you get sick and you have a fever and all this, fever is part of a healing process. It's wrong to try and suppress the fever. Let it heal your body. It's a healing process, you know. The same thing goes with the planet, which is what's happening. We're in a very sick planet that is like in the process of healing. And so this level of communication with the planet, with yourself, and understanding that everything around you is a sentient being, you're opening yourself up to levels of communication that are light years beyond anything that you can ever read about. You know, experiential reality is essential to a certain level of learning experience, and how you go through that is very important. It's very important. You know, there are teachers and there are teachers. And this is the truth. You know,
You're
like,
a professor.
huh?
And you're a professor.
At a certain level, I am. Yeah,
I've learned so much from you over the years.
Huh?
I've learned so much from you.
Well,
I've sat
I'm
with
glad,
Miguel for
yeah.
hours, haven't we? You used to come when I used to live here. I used to come most Sundays and talk about quantum physics. We looked at structures, we looked at molecules, we looked at energy, we looked at sound, we looked at everything you could imagine, and we used to go down the rabbit hole. I'm still doing it now. Still taking all your information and soaking it up.
Well, it's all out there. You know, it's just like for a long time, you know. In one of my ceremonies once, for some reason, the police came up to see what was going up there, and I was just getting ready to start the ceremony, and he says, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a professor of metaphysics, and I train people in states of consciousness and transcending mind." And the policeman looks at me with very bewildered look on his face, and he goes, "Metaphysics?"
What's
He thought, well, okay,
I'm going to leave you to it. Like, see ya.
have a good time, yeah, whatever it is.
They have no idea. Well, I'm going to leave it there because another
Yeah.
rabbit hole has gone down. Thank you very much, Miguel, for all of your wisdom. More to come. And
Not
if you-
mine.
It's not his wisdom, it just comes through him.
Yeah.
And then I soak it up like a sponge and then it goes through me to someone else. Like and subscribe if you liked it. And you can obviously find out more about Miguel because I'm going to be stalking him now and there's lots more to come. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.